You guys ready? All right, we're going to start at 6 o'clock. Is that on?
Just push the button all the way towards you.
There we go. All right. We're going to reconvene open session called to order at 6 o'clock. Report of action taken in closed session. There weren't any. Attendance roll call. Clerk Felkerson. Here. Trustee Lopez. Here. Trustee Reed. Here. Trustee Galindo. And President Maxfield here. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approve adopt agenda. Is there anything to be added, taken away? No change. No change?
I move that we adopt the agenda.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. Absent? Okay. District mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors in our global society. Item 10.0. Paula, did you put out cards?
I put them out.
Okay.
All
All right.
Oh, there's one.
Public comments, public business from the floor, non-agendized items. This portion of the agenda allows an individual. Board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter may be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Ellie, you got your card in just on time.
All right. So a very wise person once told me as an employee that if you like the job that they're doing, then you should tell their boss. So I wanted to let you know how much I myself as a parent and also as the president of the PTA at the elementary school really, really enjoy having Nicole as our principal.
Oh, well.
Insert blush here. But we've been at the school with my family for 5 years, and in that time we had 4 principals there. And Nicole is very collaborative and open to just about any last-minute crazy suggestion we want to pull together in the spirit of making fun for the kids and support for the teachers, and that has been really refreshing and very awesome for us. I also really enjoy George there, who's not here tonight, but he is also pitched in. They come early, they stay late, they do everything they can to help, and the atmosphere at the school has really improved, I think, under their direction, and so I wanted to say that. I also would like to appreciate Ed here, and I don't know how many of you have attended some of the events in the last couple of weeks, but he's done a fantastic job of also working late, showing up with all kinds of food for the different parties that we've had, the different functions that have gone on. And also, Mr. Wyckoff, my daughter has come home a number of times in the last couple of months talking about how much she appreciates his openness and his willingness to explain things that are going on at the school that they can expect from the school next year, particularly support for transgender students, and it's really, it really made an impact on her, which of course makes an impact on me. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, thank you, Ellie, and we do appreciate that because usually we don't hear about all the good things. So, thank you. Thank you. And well done, Nicole. And Craig.
Wholeheartedly agree with all of that. Well, it takes a team.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on, we're going to go to 11.0, public hearing. As an elected governing body of the Calistoga Joint Unified School District, the Board of Trustees conducts public hearings for the purpose of maintaining open communication with parents, students, and residents of the Calistoga Community and School District. Through the public hearing process, trustees seek ideas and viewpoints regarding the efficiency and quality of district-sponsored programs or any other area of the operation of the district and its schools. The trustees believe that open communication is a key element in the ongoing process of district, school, and program improvement. 11.1, public hearing, the 2017-2018 budget. And we're going to open this at 6:06.
Okay. So first I'm going to go over a brief state update and then talk about, of course, our budget and then just give you a quick summary. So I just wanted to point out, it's kind of interesting when you think about it, but a lot of times people wonder, you're basically a district, why does it matter what's going on in the state? But it is kind of an indicator of what's going on in the overall economy, which does eventually affect us, right? Even though we're property tax reliant. So if you look at the fact that personal income tax makes 70% of the general fund for the state, and that the personal income tax of the wealthiest 1% contributes nearly 50%, then that behavior of those 1% has a serious impact on the state economy, which does eventually trickle down to us. One-time funds. So the governor included more than $1 billion in one-time funds for schools in his 17-18 budget. And then he came out and said, but those funds aren't going to be distributed until May of 2019. So the theory behind this is that his intention was he doesn't want to overfund Proposition 98, right, which is a minimum funding for schools, even though we're not directly impacted by that. And if he overfunds it, that sets the new base for the future years. So this gives him the ability to pull that out of next year's budget. So districts are not really counting on this. It doesn't affect 17-18, and we'll find out next year if he actually decides to make that happen. But it is unusual. That's not something we've seen recently. So this time I tried to break down, if you go to page 56, it's your multi-year projections, and this kind of coincides with that. And I just wanted to break down each section of the revenues. So this year we're assuming 4.7 increase in property tax revenue, and that's a combination of Sonoma and Napa County. Sonoma County makes a very small portion of our property tax revenue, and it also fluctuates quite significantly. But that is a recommendation that they send out is about 3%, so that's usually what we go with. And then about 4.91% for Napa County. And then other funding, anything with an asterisk by it is restricted. So our special ed funding, because we are a property tax, SELPA also, is actually from property taxes. So that's where that $470,000 comes from right there. And then the EPA funds and the state hold harmless, which are being projected to be about the same as they were this year in the changes. Federal revenues, we get Title II for professional development, so that's assumed to be about the same. Our special ed federal IDEA, we're assuming that's the same. And our SELPA decided to change the allocation plan for mental health funds, which resulted in a decrease of funds for Calistoga. So it's about an 18.5% decrease for us. Other state revenues, so state lottery, special education, again, the state mental health funding, we're assuming 18.73% decrease. for the same reason, it's not going to be allocated the funds. STIRS on behalf, I'm sure you'll remember, but this was when the state decided that school districts should show their portion of the state's liability for STIRS. So this really doesn't affect our financials in any way, but it kind of skews when you're looking at it. People wonder where that comes from. It's
Just an item on there.
an item on there. We have to do it. There's a calculation. And every year we include it, but it's a balanced entry. It doesn't impact anything. But it can be alarming if you don't know what it is. And one-time revenues we got this year, of course, we will not get next year at one time. And that includes mandate reimbursements and the college readiness block grant. Local revenues, assuming, sorry, lottery's not supposed to be up there. Assuming we get interest when our cash sits in the treasury, so we assume a little bit of interest and a little bit of facilities use revenue, and then outdoor education for CES revenue. But besides that, we really don't usually budget much local because it's so volatile, you don't know what's going to come in, there's no guarantee. And usually it's restricted anyways, so. Contributions, so people always wonder what this contributions piece is and where it's going. So this is basically, we make contributions from our unrestricted to these restricted programs. So for us, as you can see, a huge chunk of that is special education. We of course have to contribute to facilities and maintenance, and then the outdoor education program and trips for elementary school. So for expenditures, the assumption for staff was individual step increases and attrition for those that are retiring. I included the rates for next year for STIRS, PERS, Social Security, Medicare, SUI, workers' comp, all the things we don't really see in detail, but that are costs that add up pretty quickly. And then the change in the cap for the certificated bargaining unit members. The other piece that people often ask about are transfers out. Where is that going? So that basically is we make a transfer out of our general fund to other funds. So that goes to our cafeteria fund, to our facilities fund, which is part of our administrative regulation 3100. And then the other piece is when we had set up with PARS to have a trust to hopefully invest in and then use those funds in the future to hopefully keep the district whole when it comes to those steep increases in PERS and STIRS. So this is a budgeted estimate of making a contribution to that. For multi-year projections, no COLA or negotiated increases were assumed, just assumed a 4% increase for both classified and certificated. And as you can see, depending on, we have a lot of ambitious teachers that are very well educated, and so in any given year, if someone gets more credits, they move over a column. Every year people move up a step. So it just depends really on each individual person. And of course, you've seen this numerous times, but as always, the future projections of CalPERS rates, which as you can see, we're at 15.5%, and in not too many years, probably at 28.2%. And then same with STIRS, up to 2021. So this year we'll be at 14.4%. And this time, what I did was I put, basically the percentage is that it costs for statutories for staff. It just kind of gives you an idea of anyone's gross salary. If you're certificated or classified in any of these fiscal years, this is estimated about what percent of that gross salary it's going to cost the district in statutories. So of course that doesn't include health and welfare or anything like that. Cash flow. So I always say that with our reserves, our cash flow is extremely important because we get our revenues primarily in December and April. So that means we have to make that whole time basically relying on our ending fund balance from the prior year. So if you figure 1 month of payroll is about $800,000, have to have a pretty good cash balance to keep moving and not have to borrow. And a lot of districts do have to borrow, and in the event they do, the initial cost is usually about $18,000, and with interest, $40,000. And that's CSBA school, that's considered low cost. And our reserves, so I'm happy to say that, as you can see, our reserves have gone up from what we had thought before. And I just did a column on the side to show if we hadn't paid off the COP, what that impact would be on our reserves. And as you can see, in the outgoing years, we would still be deficits and spending. And considering that, that's usually okay when you have a one-time emergency, such as facilities like we've seen, but to have that ongoing is usually not a good indicator. So it's good to see that that is improving. And of course, I always bring up special ed. It's just a very high-cost program, and sometimes it's hard to realize how little these state and feds actually give us to provide the necessary services. So this is what's budgeted for 17-18 for a contribution to special ed program. And that can change at any given moment. If someone leaves or someone comes. And then just for more details, this is about what out-of-district placements can cost. Depends on the student and the situation. And of course, we pay the county office for our preschool students. And just to give an example, those students that are intensive cost about $42,000, and they do in preschool come in and out all throughout the year. So we don't usually find out. We find out quarterly until the next quarter that, oh, there's an extra $40,000 or $80,000 for that one. So in conclusion, obviously we have to see significant increases in pension costs in the future, so we want to always keep that in mind. Revenue growth is anticipated to slow. That's not totally predictable, but it's a warning that keeps coming out. And there's all kinds of unpredictable costs. And we've seen that for sure lately with all of our unfortunate facilities and emergencies, right? So I would just say in conclusion, like I've said before, it's just important that we remain prudent. We don't commit to any ongoing costs. And of course, insolvencies due to decisions made during prosperous times, usually. So, and always think long term. Any questions? That's a lot of information.
Any comments from the public? All right, we're going to close this hearing at 6:18. Thank you, John. 12.2, public hearing, 2017-18 local control accountability plan. Okay.
The document before you is a draft. I'd like to remind you of that. I want to say thank you to the site administrators and their staff for working with us, and also Lucy from the County Office of Education in providing input and making revisions to the LTAP. Also, Lucy will be here on Thursday to work with us, and Aaron will be here also. And we'll be looking at some of the sections that we need to revise and complete so we can bring it back on the 19th. So at this point, I would like to have Nicole and David and Craig basically just talk a little bit about your sections. Very, very briefly.
Who wants to go first?
Well, one of the sections is around our AP scores, and I'll pass, take one. One of the data indicators we'd like to see is progressive growth in our students' capacity of the exams. And as you can see, for the last 3 years, we've improved. And I think this next year's 2000 test we took just a month ago. So it's more improved.
bookends here.
Okay.
So, one change that, I don't know if I'm on it.
It's ready. Okay. Put that back a little bit. So from the elementary perspective, what we immediately noticed at the beginning of the year was there wasn't much in the narrative about all the things going on at the elementary school. And so Lucy was really critical in engaging our stakeholders with that, including our staff, including our ELAC, and also including our school site council. And so the additions that you'll see in here specifically to elementary relate to the implementation of standards-based materials in both math and in English language arts. Also, the progress that we've made with our English learners, specifically double-digit growth for students who reaching English language proficiency. And also that our staff has committed to a protocol of those 3 release days where we seriously look through student data, we look at progress markers, we look at where do we want students to be, what do we do if they're not there, and what do we do if they're exceeding. Which that was exciting to get to that point because the second and third meeting we were starting to see that kind of data. So that kind of encapsulates what we did on the elementary side.
Okay, middle bucket.
Yes, I get to be in the middle. So I'm the middle. You know, we did a lot of work with Avid and Avid Strategies through our professional development. We've been training teachers each summer at the Summer Institute, and we're continuing that this year. In the junior high, when you look at the school climate piece, the last couple of years we've worked real hard to get everybody on board with setting clear expectations of kids. And if you look at the data as far as the Healthy Kids Survey, the 7th grade data is just 90% as far as safe and connected, 87. So we have very high rates. I think we've done a good job of trying to support the 7th graders. You know, they've only been with us for a short time, yet we're getting great results as far as how safe they feel on campus. I think one of the big changes was putting the 7th and the 8th grade together, so they had a mentor, and it's not a big brother, but a mentor, someone who they work side to side with, and feel welcomed and kind of initiated into the junior high experience much quicker. Those are a couple strategies that we've also used.
Well, I didn't know we were talking much, so I'll add some more. I want to reiterate what was said earlier by Nicole, is how invaluable Lucy was to our site in 7th through 12, and working with our staff and parent groups and so on to gather that information. Big help. And then also to really focusing on things that we need to look at improving, but also really celebrating what we're seeing successes with. And we're seeing successes with our EL students, like I showed you with AP scores, talking a little bit about Avid that David mentioned, and then our CTE pathways, how those have been growing. And so she was able to weave that in. So we're showcasing what we're doing, but also we need to focus on where we need to improve on. And that's really was an important process for us. And the college in person, of course, which we're meeting from.
We're gonna hear from
We're here from the
Good segue.
Any comments from the public? Seeing a rush to the podium, we're going to close this hearing at 6:25. And we're going to go to 11.3, public hearing, educator effectiveness plan. We'll start with 6:25.
So, when the governor had given one-time funds for educator effectiveness, as they called it, which was professional development. And we had built this into our LCAP, and so the state had said, you need to make a plan and you need to get it approved and you need to take it to a public hearing. So we thought that that's satisfactory because we built an LCAP, but the auditors feel that it needs to be a separate plan. So this is just a brief description of some of the uses we've had for those funds. I know Nicole mentioned co-op time, and then some of the plans we have for the remaining.
So this is part of the LCAP.
Yes.
We've got to bring it back out.
It's redundant, yes.
And we should also add that basically these funds are allocated out to the sites and they determine, based on their priorities, how they're going to use it.
Any other comments? Comments from the public? All right. We're going to close this public hearing at 6:27. Moving on. All right. Reports, recognition, information, discussion items. 12.1, Calistoga Joint Unified School District of Valley Family Center and Mentis Partnership and Services to our students and families. Jenny, how are you? Good to see you.
Welcome.
And Rob.
Yes, Rob and I are presenting together. We have materials, I put mine out, and Rob, if you want to add yours. We're very happy to be here tonight as an update to the school district about the partnership that we've had with the school district over this year and for some time. I was looking back at the numbers, and we've been partnering, Up Valley Family Center is originally Calistoga Family Center, with the school district for almost 20 years. So we have a long history of working together. Our main office is on the campus of the elementary school. We also have an office at the junior senior high school. And I wanted to, while I'm not here to update you on everything that the Family Center does, I did leave an annual report for you that covers all of our program areas and our accomplishments over the past calendar year. One of the things that we wanted to talk with you about today is specifically the service agreement that we have in partnership with Mentis, as well as several other services that the Family Center provides to students and families. So one of the areas is educationally based mental health services, and I won't go into a lot of details because that's the area Rob is going to discuss more. But one of the things that the Family Center does is, in partnership with the administrators on both campuses, is coordinate what's called a core team, which is a multidisciplinary team focused on, we'll get referrals from students from teachers, or at the junior senior high school could be a self-referral, or parents, and we will identify an array of different possible needs that that student may have and connect them in. We had this past year 133 students come through the core teams district-wide, and those students were referred for mental health services to Mentis, for drug and alcohol, either prevention or intervention with Aldea, for the diversion program at the Boys and Girls Club and with the police department, or to the Up Valley Family Center's Claro and Clara Youth Mentoring Program that's on campus for the middle and high school kids. And that's been a very successful program, I think, or process, because it's all of the professionals around the table thinking about how can we best serve the needs of the student, to what extent do we need to reach out to the family and get them involved, and many successful stories that have come out of that in making sure that students get what they need so they can focus academically and be successful in school. In addition, one of the areas that we have been working on throughout this year is running an ESL, GED, and Plaza Comunitaria program for our parents, helping them with their English skills, their Spanish literacy skills, and furthering their education so that they can better assist their students. We had 89 parents attend the ESL classes over the course of the year. By the way, there's an instructor from Napa Valley College that provides those. We help coordinate the child care and do the outreach. And then we also had 15 parents who go through our Plaza Comunitaria Spanish literacy program. They just had a graduation, I think it was a week ago, which was very emotional and very nice. So the other piece about Plaza Comunitaria that's supported also by the Mexican consulate. So they provide us with a grant, and we're able to provide a stipend to parents that allows them to use that money to further their own studying and education in the home. Summer Bridges is another area that we coordinate, and that is for incoming kindergarten students who haven't had preschool experience. Last year we had 11 students and 8 parents that were supported through Summer Bridge. We did it at Palisades, and we'll plan to do that again this coming year. We're anticipating around 8 students this year, and we're just getting ready to get that going. Next week it's going to get started. And then finally, I just want to mention that we have received a grant from the S.H. Cowell Foundation, some support from the school district and the state to coordinate a public-private community schools initiative. Many of you have been at those meetings. We have them quarterly or roughly 2 or 3 times a year. It depends on the need. Our community schools manager, Andy McGannon, has been focused on building different partnerships to bring more services up to students here in Calistoga. We have 25 agencies who are actively involved in that partnership, and it's really designed to be from preschool up through, to get successful to college, provide all the different supports needed, and work together collaboratively when we identify that there are gaps or needs. Some of the new partnerships that were included this year, Highlands Christian Preschool began partnering with us on our school readiness alignment efforts with the kindergarten as well. We have the Village Napa Teens Connect recently came to look at how we can offer more for teens and parents locally. LGBTQ Connection will be bringing services up here next year. Our Calistoga City Manager has been involved as he's come on board and is part of our advisory group, so we're partnering and making sure we're connecting with the city. And then we have been able to offer technology training for parents in partnership with the library. So those were just a couple examples of things that we've done over the year. Partnered also closely with ELAC, bringing a lot of different educational topics to those meetings for parents. I believe we reached a total of 17 high school families and 20 preschool families with the Latino Family Literacy Project. So we've been doing a lot to support families and students throughout their education on the social services and parent ed side. And I'm going to stop talking so that Rob can get the word in.
Thank you, Jim.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to start off by saying thank you to Esmeralda and Board of Trustees for your wisdom and your leadership in contracting with us and partnering with us, because it really is going to make, it makes a big, big difference in the lives of these students, and I'm going to walk you through right now why. So first off, we've been at this partnership with the Up Valley Family Center and the school district for about 8 years now, and Mentis provides a total of 8 therapy days per week in the school system, elementary through high school, including Palisades, each week. So it's very intensive. And the referrals, as Jenny mentioned, come from that core team. So all the entities are involved in identifying the kids and really helping to prioritize and triage what kids need the intervention and the service the most. We try to get to everybody, but we really have a coordinated system so the highest risk, most needy kids get the help the quickest. So just a basic profile of who we're serving. Roughly about 80% of the students we see are Latino. Almost over 90% come from very low to low income according to federal standards. And, split pretty evenly between males and females. So what are the types of issues we work on? Well, the kids we see, generally, they're struggling academically, behaviorally, socially. I mean, a lot of these problems stem from poverty, trauma, and immigration status, gang involvement, a level of acculturation, family, domestic violence, all these type of situations, conditions, which really make it challenging for the kids to come to school and learn and thrive. Not surprising, most of these issues are causing significant emotional distress, depression, anxiety, and behavioral problems that manifest at home, school, and in the community as well. So as you can see, we're really dealing with pretty high-risk kids. Many of these teens have either engaged in self-harm behaviors or considered it, have had self-harm ideation. There has been some suicide attempts before, so it's quite serious. Anyway, so we offer mental health treatment in partnership with the family centers described and your staff at the schools. And really the goal of this program is to help these kids and teens succeed in school and really prepare them for the transition from teenagehood into adulthood, so they have the relational skills, the emotional skills, the life skills really to be successful occupationally, socially, and really contributing members of the community. And I really like the collaborative nature of our program because that's really the key. It's really playing to the strengths of all the entities involved. And the other piece that I really think we've added in the last couple of years, again, I compliment your leadership and wisdom around this, is including services at the elementary school level. When we began this program, and 8 years or so ago, I remember my therapist saying to me, this is great, it's working well, we're getting results, but I really would like to start with the kids earlier. So we've added that, and in fact, we spend about half of our therapist time is based at the elementary level, and I think that's a smart investment. It's prevention, and it's earlier intervention. So, general numbers I've included on the handout. As Jenny mentioned, there was 133 total referrals that came through the court team. And we ended up seeing about 40 kids at the elementary school, 40 at the middle high school, with a wait list of about 5 at each level. We also saw kids at Palisades, and we did 16 hours of mindfulness instruction, which is really just helping the kids kind of get grounded and focused and really kind of not be so preoccupied with everything that's going on around them, but just kind of be present in the moment. Short description of mindfulness, it's a little bit more detailed than that. That's the essence of it. So we did get good results, and I think that's important. Certainly we want kids to feel better, but we also want them to function better in all these different areas we talked about, school and home. So we have several outcome measures that we use to track this, and all of these outcome measures are administered at the beginning of treatment, at the end of treatment. The kids themselves fill out the surveys if they're middle and high schoolers. If they're elementary, then we have to get the parents to help. Okay? So we have something called an emotional rating scale that our agency created, and it's a valid and reliable measure. 82% of students showed improvement on that. It's really measuring emotional distress. We have a depression scale. We have 2 depression scales, one for the older teens, one for the younger kids, over 80%. Again, showing a reduction of symptoms, depressive symptoms, from the time they began therapy to the time they completed. Same thing, anxiety, a couple scales. One is for the older kids, one is the younger kids. About 85% showing a reduction in symptoms. Trauma, same thing. We have a scale for that, over 80%. So if you look at these 4 outcome measures, consistently over 80% of kids are feeling and functioning better from the time they began therapy to the completion of treatment. So again, this is working. It's effective, it's needed, and I thank you all very much for partnering with us. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you.
I do have a question or comment. You guys did a great job, by the way. My question is the diversion program. I understand that has been discontinued.
Yeah, I believe that what's happening is they are looking to recontract services out for that, so it's on hold right now.
And my comment is I'm a fan of Andy. He's doing great.
Yeah, we are too.
Well, if you can talk a little bit about mental health services that are provided to parents or for adults to members as well?
Yeah, thank you, Indira. The cool thing about this partnership is we also have therapists based at the Family Center on a weekly basis, and those therapists are available to work with the adults. And many of the adults we work with are the parents of the kids we're seeing in school. So it really allows us to work on both ends, because the truth of it is most of the problems that kids manifest usually has its origin in the family system in one way or another. So in some sense, if you can really impact that family system, then you're getting a real bang for your buck. And so by off-siting a therapist at the family center, we get to do that. And by extension, we also work with some of the older adults as well. We have the whole continuum. So I think that provides a nice wraparound kind of nest to continue to work at all levels.
I was just curious, you have the core team, which I'm sure you do some educational components with. Have you pushed into like the teacher staff meetings at all? Just doing brief little 15-minute, I was just kind of curious.
We have come to a couple staff meetings to talk with staff about what our services are. I think I personally, wasn't me, so I couldn't say exactly all of what was covered. In terms of the core team, we do look at also academic issues, and if we need to find tutoring or other things like that, that's come up on occasion, but primarily it's been more social, mental health.
I'm just thinking of the educational standpoint, the more people who have just bits and pieces of tools, staff, the more people who can recognize things that are going on. You know what I mean? Just tiny little educational things that you push back into the staff.
Well, one of the things that we're looking at for our professional development days is there is a mental health, I guess CPR, I don't know how we can describe it, but basically it's a triage approach where the staff is trained to be able to identify cues in students that maybe they may not normally see.
And not necessarily for them to personally act on, but to kind of see things that they then go through.
Right. So there is a referral process, and sometimes our staff might be oblivious because they don't see the signs, right? Like the people who maybe a diabetic parent would recognize the sign that their child is having low or high, but there are some things, and so the county offers that training to us, and we just need to find time.
But that's a really good point, because this program is also successful because the teachers buy into it and participate thanks to your principals, because we couldn't, unless everybody's on board, it doesn't work well. And you're absolutely right, having the teachers, because they see the kids the most, right? So having them be able to identify some of the early signs of emotional, mental health, behavioral issues, that really helps to identify quickly and then get them into treatment.
And then I like Andy's whole idea of the wellness committee, because I think on top of our kids feeling well and secure, I also feel it's important that our teachers feel well and secure, and that they're also feeling, they're being nurtured. It's good, it's all good stuff.
Any questions?
I just would like to say thank you, Rob and Jenny. Definitely, we are very, very impressed with the services that your licensed therapists have been providing to our students. We have identified it as a need, and even though we don't receive any special funding for this type of a program, by the way, the district has made a commitment in a sense to continue to support those services by funding it through the general budget. And I hope that, I know that the board also believes in this type of program and these services, and I know that you will continue to be here with us in the future.
Absolutely, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I just highlight a couple things?
Of course.
The Latino Family Literacy Project has been an amazing thing for our parents and our students, and they're so proud when they have that graduation certificate. It's been great. And the other thing too is Andy and the team at Ventus were very responsive. We had 2 new students came in who were 2 girls that lost their mother to cancer and didn't speak any English at all, or near his father, but they reached out and found someone who was a bilingual therapist to come in and be able to provide the services for the students. Albeit they had to drive to San Antonio to do it, but the father was so important that we provided that. So it was a great, without that, these girls would be, it's a struggle, right? If we're having issues. It's good.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you. 12.2, the Avid College and Career Presentation. Mr. Harlan Server. Yay!
So it occurs to me this is the last time I get to present to you as an alum.
I know. I'll come back to see you watch your
Good. Well, I'll start by thanking Esmeralda for thinking of me when this position needed to be filled. had a great year. I do this wrong every time.
Is there a light on the side?
Is there a little light on the side? It's off. There we go. My priorities since the last time I presented to you in the fall have been a couple more workshops. And I wanted to report that for financial aid, 90% of our seniors applied for FAFSA during that. And that's something that Avid is keeping a close eye on nationwide. We did well. Part of the reason for that was we opened up the library. David came and helped on a Saturday, the day that they could first file. We saw about half the seniors that filed that day. Families came in, they brought their, in fact, I still have somebody's tax return. Okay. They bring their tax returns in, we just get everything done. That ended up being tremendously helpful. I don't know if you've heard about the breach of security with the IRS, but students who waited until the last minute and were trying to use that transfer feature weren't able to do so. So that part of the system had been shut down to protect all of us. So very pleased with that. And 82% applied for the local scholarship. I worked with Gary Gutman closely on that. They got a grade in the grade book. They didn't have their application graded, but they got a grade for doing it. And that had a pretty significant impact on how those scholarships were given out this year, which is good. I also had a workshop for parents only. Esmeralda came, and lots of parents were there. Not all of them, we could do better. But I wanted to create an opportunity for them to talk to each other about how do you decide. So we had students who had 6 college acceptances. What do you look at? How do you decide? How do you compare financial aid packages? We gave them an opportunity to discuss with themselves. You know, both of the women in our front office have daughters going away to college, but they also already have daughters in college. So they were able to have questions like, where do they live in the dorm? What is a co-ed dorm? Is it 1 floor boys, 1 floor girls? How do they stay safe? What kinds of services are available to them at school to keep them safe? And the one thing that came out of that meeting that I heard that it would never have occurred to me to advise a parent or a child on was don't let them come home. That's a hard one. But it made so much sense coming from a parent who said, look, if you let them come home every weekend, they won't transition. So not till Thanksgiving. We held the workshop late. I'd like to do it earlier next year. Students made resumes and cover letters, and we talked about the necessity of thank you letters once you've had an interview. We placed 2, well, Palisades had 2 interns placed, and then we placed 2 from the high school. And one was with the Calistoga Police Department, and the other was with Napa Valley Ag Repair. Both of those were done under the contract that I worked tirelessly on putting together for us, shepherding it through the whole legal side of things and with our insurance company, so that those agreements actually contain specifics on what the student will be learning, what the sponsor can expect, what the student can expect. There are standards that those expectations are aligned to. And in both cases, both internships, actually all 4, were resounding successes. Went very well. There's also an evaluation process at the end. They all got A's. They did very well. Trying to recruit sponsors. So if you know people who might be interested in an intern, there is a place on the website for them to indicate, or you could always email me, or they could as well. We have, I think it's 18 students who are interested in internships for next year. So Esme Curiel, who was the police department intern, she actually did her Genius Hour on the internship program and how important it was to her. And she and I went door to door and handed out some information. Haven't got any phone calls back yet. So need to follow up. And on the 27th, we'll have our first Promise Program meeting. We've invited about 27 people. We are Indira, myself, and Maria DiGiulio. And we're hoping to bring some people together in the community representing different organizations and have an initial conversation about what a Promise Program might look like in Calistoga and what our next steps might be. So my job between now and then is to put together the resources. There are now over 80 Promise Programs just in the state of California. There are lots of different ways to do a Promise Program. I think what might work best for our graduates is called the last dollar sponsored or Promise program, and that's where the program fills the funding gap. Our students leave here with their first year very well taken care of, thanks to the generous donors in the community. The Rotary actually gave scholarships, or they will give out additional money for students' second years this time. Is that the first time that's happened, Jeff? Yeah, so it's pretty spectacular. So I'll keep you all posted on that. Here's what the scholarships look like this year. So we go all the way back to 2011, and there were 47 individual scholarships awarded, and this year, 78. So that was kind of one of my goals last year. I wanted to see that money spread around a little bit more. And we're building back up to the number of scholarships. Total award, so that's $94,000 this year, up from last year. That's right. And this is the part that shows the money being spread around a little bit more. So that's 61% of the class of 2017 received a scholarship of some sort, compared to only 37% of the graduating class in 2015. So I feel good about that. And the percent of money to the top 5 students. So in 2015, 70% of the money went to the top 5 students. This year, that dropped down to 58,000, or 58%. Happy about that as well. Here's what they have chosen to do. So, and if you were at graduation, there were some confusing numbers, and that's just a matter of, we need to do a better job of teaching students how to read percentages, because both of the valedictorians wanted to talk about what percentage of their class was doing what, and we had more kids going to college than we had graduating. So, the math was all said and done. So the 31% chose a 4-year, 34% a 2-year, with the plan to transfer. We did a lot of work this year talking to them about what that means, because what we know is they're not getting out in 2 years. It's taking them 4. And they don't often know about transfer agreements and all that, or that there are actually specific classes they should be taking to get to where they want to go. So hopefully this group is leaving a little better educated, and next year, we'll just continue to improve on that. But we also, for the first time, had students choosing certificate programs, because we talked about that this year as well. We did workshops in the fall. Santa Rosa Junior College came over and presented to our students on the different certificate programs that are available. So hopefully we'll see improvement in that area as well as we move forward. 5% to trade schools and 13% other. The other is employment, and we have 1 student going into the Air Force. So of those going to a 4-year university, 8 are going to a UC. Davis and Merced are the very lucky recipients this year. And another 8 to CSUs, and 3 are going to privates or out-of-states. The privates are just Dominican, I guess. We have 2 students going to Dominican, and then 1 going to Oregon. So signing day was a huge success, thanks in part to Ed, he's still here, and David and Craig, who were the chefs. The students signed their contracts, but they also posed with the, saying where they were going. We only had 2 kids change afterwards, so we had to redo their photo. That's pretty good. The motto of the Better Make Room, this is Michelle Obama's initiative, and the idea is that saying things out loud makes them happen. And I had a student approach me afterwards and basically say that he hadn't really seen himself as a college student, but that now he kind of felt like he was. This is the board in my office. So you see there their contracts, each of them signed with their pictures. And I'm going to leave that up because I've had younger students coming in and looking at it and being very curious about what that is. The contracts are very simple. They're basically agreeing to work hard and be nice, and we're basically agreeing to be proud of them and support them. And then there's a paragraph thrown in there for their school promising to give them a quality education over there. It's been 4 years since our first full cohort of Avid students, so I did some digging to find out what was happening with them. So I confused myself on these graphs. So the green is 2-year enrollment, the fall after they graduated high school. And the pink, or purple, is 4-year enrollment. So for the class of 2013, over there on the far left, 50% of those graduates went to a 4-year, and 48% went to a 2-year. Class of 2014, 67 and 8. I won't read all the numbers to you, but you can see what's going on there. This last bar on the right, that's AVID overall in the United States. So we're doing better than AVID is nationally. And we're also doing better in terms of persistence. So I was able to reach out to the class of 2013 and the class of 2014. The students who went to a 4-year are persisting. They've either graduated or they're on track to take another year and do so. That's the green bar over there on the left for the class of 2013. The overall number for AVID US, they only have data through 2010. So because we're such a small group, I can actually reach out to the individual students and see what's happening with them. But AVID National, we're comparing to from 2010. Does that make sense? So I'm the only one who's confused. Post-graduation plans compared to non-AVID students. So in 2016, only 35% of non-AVID students had wanted to go to a 4-year. Compared to 65% of AVID students. The next is for 2017, this year, for attending a 4-year. And then those percentages are more or less reversed for the 2 years. So most of our students who aren't in AVID are going the 2-year route, which concerns me because we need to make sure that they know what that means and what transfers like. Because the other comment I wanted to make about this slide, the persistence slide, where is it? So of our students, go to this one. So the 2-year AVID students from 2013, I just heard at graduation on Friday, the first one is transferring in 4 years. And that was a pretty college-going, committed group. So it's tough. So moving forward, more internships, career exploration. I really think we need to set up some job shadowing. When students were surveyed about what they might want an internship in, their responses were very limited. And I think that's in part because they don't know what possibilities exist. So if we could set up some job shadowing, I think that would help them a lot. And I want to look at our college visits, which are so expensive, a little differently this year. So we're taking all students to a particular school. And I'd like to set it up so that students sign up to go to a school that they might actually be interested in applying to. I'm not sure it's going to work better, but I think if we could wrap our finances and our planning around it, it might give the students a better opportunity to really get something out of the visit.
I think that smaller groups, us that can have the
That's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah, if you only have 16 students who are interested in going to Sonoma State, yeah. Why
I'd
take?
also say that I know you guys like to keep the kids on campus at lunch. Perhaps we could start bringing in people who have sort of dynamic, interesting careers to speak during lunches. So we can come in and talk about all the jobs and stuff.
One of the things that I did not put together this year was some kind of a job fair. I think my predecessor did the year before, and it had mixed results that in terms of getting people here.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think it has to have mixed
Before
results.
it was a project with a student, and I thought she put it together in about 4 days, and it was actually pretty successful for the lack of preparation.
Great.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the kids really liked it. I was going to also say, I know this has been my big thing, but do we have anything on in here to track the students afterwards? And I'm thinking like, okay, so you're an AVID teacher, you start in 2017 with the freshmen, you're 18, 19, 20. And then when you start over again, you want to do a class?
No, I'm only, from this point forward.
No, I mean an AVID teacher. So if you're John Lowell and you start with a freshman in 2017, he follows them, right?
Actually, I think currently John Lowell is going to stay in junior high with
Okay, I'm
Abbott.
just using this.
Okay.
Never mind. I'm just trying to understand.
Well, I'm sorry, so maybe I should start by saying I'm not sure everyone is going to follow the same path. I think in high school, we're looking at having them follow the students 9, 10, and 11, and then they'll come to me for 12.
I was just trying to think of what kind of thing we could do to have someone to start to track the Avid students once they're gone. Keep in touch with them, and I was thinking the Avid teacher could but if everybody doing 12.
Well, she's going to be tracking the kids, whether they're avid or not.
Exactly.
Where
Yeah.
they go, what they do.
Avid's easy, actually, because Avid uses the clearinghouse to track all of our Avid kids for us. However, there's a glitch with the year 2013, which put my mind at ease because I looked at our national clearinghouse report and went, what? They all dropped out? You know? And there's a problem with the clearinghouse data for that year. So Avid doesn't have that year, but they have the other years. Yeah. And 2010 is the first year that they have the persistent rate for, because you're looking at kids who go and complete a degree, right? But I am hopeful that I'll be able to keep track of the kids myself, because that's going to be, I think, the best way to do it.
Especially if you're in charge of the money.
Well, I got a little confused this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking for Naviance, so we're still using Naviance.
I know Michelle was just pushing into classes within the past couple of weeks using Naviance. I'm going to spend some time this summer in Naviance learning what I can learn. For example, I know that I could have run my resume workshop using Naviance, but I didn't because I didn't know how to use it. Yeah.
As a 40-something-year-old person, I sat for like 3 hours and looked at vignettes about different careers trying to decide what I was going to do next.
There you go. Yeah.
They just have these little snippets and you can look up any career and it's just really such a popular information.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
It's a great resource. We really should be using it more. It's a matter of me and Michelle figuring out who's doing what and moving forward, and I just need to spend some time in the program.
Thank you very much, Carla, for all your work. And
Yes.
I just have a comment. Carla, I want to thank you for all the hard work with the, Avid students, and I want to say that placing interns in with different agencies is really wonderful experience for the students. A first-hand experience with Esmeralda and the sheriff, the chief of police. We got a traffic stop.
Was she in the car?
She was in the car, and she came down with the chief and came to the car and followed the whole protocol.
What did you do?
I wasn't driving.
Oh.
But it was very interesting to see her face. It's like, oh my God, we're actually in a traffic stop.
Yeah.
And for her, that was a great learning.
It really was. We all got to just watch her blossom. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, it was a little embarrassing for me, but for her, it was a great experience. So thank you for doing that.
Well, they took her to the shooting range. Like, do you really have to do that?
Of course they did.
She
she seemed to have enjoyed it. She seemed to have enjoyed it.
She did, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Well, thank you for all you do for the
Thank you for
school,
the
the
opportunity.
community. For everything. Thank you. 12.3. Chris.
A hard act to follow.
Not very boring, so.
No.
All right, so summer's back already. It's time to get some stuff done. Our main focus this summer will be on work order completion, minor site improvement projects, fit inspection preparation, mandated testing and inspections, and recycle program implementation. So just kind of a recap of this previous year, from the start of school to the end of school for the 16-17 school year, we completed 505 work orders and did 73 event requests. So events can range from just setting up a microphone to the graduations. So it's a variety of things. Some are real quick and easy, some are pretty time consuming. But Drew's done a really great job throughout the year on that. When I did this, it looked pretty good for us. We were going into the summer with only 12 work orders, but as of today, we're a little over 30. So I don't know why I put that.
But it looks
in there.
good for the slide.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like we're all set. But, some of the basic repairs, rain gutter repairs, plumbing, pressure washing, minor repairs, and painting. A lot of stuff I'm just trying to keep as much as I can in-house, because as you'll see in the next sets of slides, there's some stuff that we need to get done that not so aesthetically changing the campus, but it's definitely something we can do. So, some of the minor site improvements, I went on to, kind of like I did at the elementary school, just a minor facelift in the faculty restroom. We have a company doing the flooring, but we'll be doing paint and some new fixtures. The wood shop restroom, we're going to do some work in as well. One of the things we get dinged on every year in our fit inspection is the wood shop floor. It's just a painted concrete floor, but the paint's chipping, so we get dinged on that every year. So just a quick coat of porch paint will be squared away. We're going to replace the toilet in there. It's old and pretty beat up. And then the light switch is on the outside of the bathroom, so we're just going to, the guys are just going to move that conduit and the switch inside so that everything actually, kids aren't turning the light on.
They would never do that.
At the elementary school, we have 6 classrooms that have probably the oldest projectors in the district. Marty picked up 6 projectors, and over the summer we're going to do just a straight swap on those. We're not going to be doing the major upgrades that we've done in other classrooms, where they get the sound system and all that stuff. But we just need to get them a better projector, because they have to get it real dark in the classroom. It's not a very good picture. These projectors that Marty bought are a higher lumen. They don't necessarily need to have all the lights off, and trying to cover the windows just to be able to see it should improve for them considerably. A couple years ago, we had the campuses painted. I think it was 13 for the elementary school and 15 for the high school. This needs some touch up. There's some wood repairs that need to be done, so we'll be looking at that. As you can see with the kind of funky microphones we have all the time, I'm going to have 4 more wireless microphones added to the system here. I tried to go a cheap route, and I bought a very inexpensive 4 mic system. That one died. I bought another one, and I didn't like the way that it picked up the sound, and then one of those mic died. So I got Deco Tech out here to let me know what we need to do to make that happen. And then I've previously been working with a company called Aqua for All to install some drinking fountains and bottle filling stations throughout the campuses. The only thing they were willing to do was provide us the drinking fountains, which are pretty expensive, but with the ADA requirements and the work that would be required to put them in, it was pretty high cost. But one thing that I did find working with them is some of our fountains we have now they sell a retrofit kit for them that we can do. There's 2 fountains at the elementary school, 2 of the fountains at the gym can be retrofitted, and then over outside of 28 and 29, we're going to install the 2 drinking fountains that came out of the gym where there used to be drinking fountains right behind the backstop.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to put those in place of the one that's outside of 28 and 29, and we can retrofit those as well. So yeah, I think we can get the kids to drink a little bit more water. Facilities inspection preparation. Basically, there's a facilities inspection tool that you base your bids facilities inspection services comes out every year. You have a report on what our scores are and stuff. They're typically very, very high. And we just follow that facility inspection tool to make sure that we're focusing on the areas that they're focusing on, so that we can stay at the level we're at. And some of those things include stained and broken ceiling tiles, light fixture lens replacement, minor trip hazards, outlet switch coverage, a lot of minor stuff. For us, because our property is in really great shape, so we'll be focusing on that. This is some things that I've kind of come across that we need to get done. A HERA compliance, which is basically the Asbestos Hazard Emergency Response Act. It's not saying, it's not a full inspection of the property. It's Aurora's going to come out, they'll inspect the sites. Any suspicious materials, typically in some of the older classrooms, they'll do a sample on and determine if there's any asbestos in it. They'll come back to us with an asbestos management plan. It just makes us aware of what we have, if we have any at all, and how we handle it. So if we were going to do a project, we'd be able to let the architect or contractor know up front, this is what we have. We need to remediate it appropriately. Or if it's something minor where we're mounting something on the floor with VCT tile, we would take necessary precautions to keep the dust of those tiles getting airborne. That's going to take place this summer. Fire and life safety testing and inspection. Western States Fire Protection is the company that did all the fire and life safety in the gym. They were out about a week and a half ago to evaluate the site. I showed them our plans on what we have at the elementary school, the new system. What we have here, the way the system here is, it's a little bit pieced together. So I really wanted to focus in on here. I don't know if any of you are at the junior high graduation. That panel is like a ticking time bomb. When it goes off, it seems like I'm always worried that something's going to happen. And exactly, I wasn't here, and sure enough, it went off for an hour. So I apologize to all the neighbors who had to deal with that. In our risk management committee with our insurance company, I go to meetings a couple times a year. And something that came up that's a new requirement is bleacher inspection and repair. So American Eagle Enterprises has kind of done a joint purchasing type deal with all the school districts that are in the risk management committee. And they came out, checked out our bleachers, gave us a proposal. So I just got the signed contract with him today, and he's going to let me know when it's going to be scheduled. Basically, the new gym, it's just kind of paperwork to have on hand. Yes, we inspected it. It's in great shape and everything. And the old gym, however, there's a motor with bad parts. You need a new motor or new parts. There's some caps that need to be replaced, bolts that need to be replaced. So they'll come through, and most of the folks will be on getting those bleachers all back to what they need to be. And then every year, we collect all the fire extinguishers throughout the district, bring them all back to the shop. Best fire equipment comes up. Guy's got all the stuff in his truck. He tests every single one of our fire extinguishers, charges them, and then recertifies them. He leaves, we put them all back in place, and keeps us in compliance with the fire extinguishers. And then I had run this by Steve Campbell because I'd like to have him come out and do a fire inspection. So what his preference was is that we get all that stuff done, and then he comes through and makes sure exactly what we're doing. So I haven't seen the fire department out here since I've been out here. I'm not sure the last time they were out here, but I contacted him, and he was all for it. The last thing is we're working with Upper Valley Waste Management Agency to implement a recycle program. UVA support, what they're providing us is classroom recycle bins. We already got those and distributed those. Custodial recycle carts, those will come in handy more when we're in full force on the program. They've ordered outdoor recycle stations, which is a considerable amount of money. Those should be here this summer. And then they're also doing a cafeteria recycling station, which would be composting and kind of a place to dump the milks and just to kind of alleviate how much garbage we bring in. One thing that I didn't realize when I first started here, I was told that the garbage goes up there and they sort it up there. All the times I've gone to the dumps, it seemed logical to me because there's guys up there sorting all the stuff we take. But apparently they don't do the garbage they pick up from the street. So it's time for us to start to support the recycling program. The district is going to the CES students, and then here at the high school, the ASB students are going to promote the programs to the students and staff. Maintenance and custodians will assemble, place all the bins and carts accordingly. And then I'll go through and kind of tell them what was passed on to me. Any recycling in bags need to be clear bags, it's black and stuff like that. And then a big thank you to Ms. Hendricks' class for really getting the ball rolling. They're the ones that spearheaded it. They sent the project for the class is not positive
Well, the project was basically to write a persuasive letter try to enact change. And so the students noticed that recycling really wasn't very vibrant at the elementary school. In fact, I think there was even confusion about what containers were for which. And so they ended up writing to the mayor, who then got them hooked up with the waste management folks. And actually, the fourth grade class in April did do an assembly where they featured to both the primary and intermediate students what would be acceptable for recycling, what you can't recycle. And then we do have our bins, and I have noticed that that Jacinto and Danny do have their rolling carts as well, and they're checking in about recycling as well.
That's all I have. Is there any questions or anything?
It's going to be a busy summer.
It's always busy. And then, yeah, we've got the river tank too, so that'll be a good time. And,
Any other questions? No? Appreciate your hard work, Chris. Thank you.
12.4 is next in this riverbank, so I'll just stand in, just in case.
Okay, moving on. 12.4.
I believe I included in my communication to you the fact that the ESA is close to completing, to finishing the design for the project, for the repair of the riverbank. We're still, we've been told that the funding is there from the feds to continue with the project. Apparently they're looking into as to whether it has been deposited and earmarked for our project. So far, the timeline is that we hope that the general contractor will be able to mobilize and start the work second week of June, correct?
Yeah.
That's the timeline. But again, we are dealing with
It also depends on the permits.
Right.
As long as we approve those.
We'll keep you updated as we get information.
Good summer. All right, 12.5, mandated meal pricing.
Okay. Ed, you want to come up and talk to us about what we're doing? And it is really a mandated increase of 25 cents for those students who have to pay, which is a very small percentage of our student population.
Absolutely. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we absolutely have to, we're required by law, it's called paid lunch equity. USDA is concerned that the income that we receive from students who receive free or reduced price meals are paying in part for meals that students should be paying entirely for. We have been waiting to see what we absolutely have to do. We've been aware of this since 2010 when it was passed. There was a lot of discussions, there's a lot of revisions. We've held off until now where we absolutely have to do it. So we have a tool that we use every year, which allows us to determine, do we need to increase prices this year, yay or nay? So far, we've been very fortunate. We have not been required to do so. To reiterate, this is for students who are not receiving free or reduced price eligibility. So that said, we understand that does increase the pressure on our families. We understand that Calistoga is not representative of the United States as a whole. So our focus for the next school year is going to be to get in there with free or reduced price applications, because there are families in this city who either have not applied or need to reapply for benefits once their situation has changed, which is going to have a huge impact, and that will mitigate the extent to which they will be impacted by those meal prices. So that said, any questions, concerns, or comments?
So it goes up 25 cents from what?
So right now, for example, at the elementary, breakfast is $1.50. Most of our colleagues in the area in California are doing about $2. So our price will now be $1.75. For the high school, the junior senior high school, it will go from $2 to $2.25. At the elementary, again, for lunch, it's $2.50, now to $2.75. At the high school, it will go from $3 to $3.25. And we will increase the prices on adult meals and adult products that we serve to keep it relative to that. one of the things that we have been very fortunate to have is to have a sufficient amount of adult sales that helps subsidize some of our student meals, which has enabled us to go as far as we have with regards to not increasing the prices. There's that. You want to say that one more time for the microphone?
So that's because the food's good.
So that said, I also want to give a shout out. Every year, about twice a year, we look into alternative models, which we can offer meals at no charge. We do this twice a year because our situation is very different from November to June. Given the way that people apply, we're noticing that in June we have much higher free or reduced price rates than we do in November. So that kind of ties back into the big push that we need to do for applications to limit the impact that these meal prices are going to have on families in our community. So that said, as we have opportunities to explore other pricing possibilities, we'll keep you guys apprised. But as it stands, those other opportunities that we have been evaluating are not a great fit for us. Any other questions, concerns, or comments?
Not specifically about this, but I would like to say thank you very much for a great meal. The culinary students prepared an outstanding meal last Thursday, right? Thursday? Thank you.
Well, thank you. And to our guests, thank you for your feedback. It's always it's a challenging thing for students is to tell them we're making food, but not for you. We're making for our guests. And so I made this at home, and I like it this way. It doesn't necessarily translate to our guests enjoyed it. So thank you for your feedback, especially on more challenging things that we stretched out to do. So that was fantastic. We look forward to having you again next year.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
12.6, articles of interest.
More information about
I can see somebody's on a short time list here. All right. 13.0, consent calendar requires roll call votes. Action proposed with the consent agenda be routine in nature and be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board of the audience or staff request specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Okay, so moved by Indira. Matt? All in favor? Aye. There's none, and this is a roll call. Clerk Elkishin? Trustee Lopez? Trustee Reed?
Aye.
Trustee Linda? And Trustee Maxwell? Aye. Item 14, action items. Protocol for action items include staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. First one is 14.1, Resolution 1617-14, increasing school facilities fees as authorized by government code section. Recommendation to approve. As presented.
So, last board meeting, we had a public hearing about this, so now we're just asking you to approve those.
Looking for a motion?
I move
All in favor? Aye. No? 14.2, Resolution 1617-15, authorization to sign on behalf of the governing board. Request to approve resolution as presented.
Just change your names.
Just change. So that means there you can sign for us now.
As of July.
As of July.
All right. Looking for a motion.
So I move we authorize to sign for Eric.
All in favor? Aye. 14.3, Resolution 1617-16, authorization of end-of-year transfers for 2017 to 18. Recommendation to approve the resolution as presented.
So every year we bring this, at the end of the year, when we're closing out the books, we have to do transfers, and so this is essentially the approval of the board for us to continue doing for next year.
Looking for a motion?
So moved.
Good.
Second.
Good. All in favor? Aye. Resolution 16-17-17, 2017-18 bank signatories. Request to approve as presented.
So again, we bring this every year, and we've had some changes in stuff, so we have to make sure we get it right and set it up with the bank.
Okay. Looking for a motion?
Oh, I move we approve this resolution as presented.
Looking for a second? Here. All in favor? Aye. 14.5 CIF designation, 2017-18 designation of California Interscholastic Federation representatives to the league. It's recommended to approve CIF representatives presented, junior high principal Dave Pumura and athletic director Karen Mueller. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on. Okay, 14.16, declaration of need for fully qualified educators. The district must submit an annual declaration certifying that there are insufficient number of certificated persons who meet the district's specified employment criteria for fully qualified educators and limited assignment credentials.
All of our teachers are fully credentialed and fully qualified. Again, this is also a routine item that we bring to you. It's almost like an insurance policy. The state requires us to make sure before we even consider perhaps placing a teacher to teach a subject matter that they're not fully credentialed for, we have to have a waiver and we have to have this in place.
Can we do this?
It's like an insurance
So
policy.
we do this every year.
We do this every year.
Okay. Looking for a motion?
I move.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. 14.7, advanced placement world history textbook adoption. College Board implemented new AP world history test and curriculum. We offer this class at our school, therefore the district needs these new edition of the McGraw-Hill Education Traditions and Encounters, a Global Perspective on the Past, 6th edition. It's recommended that we purchase 25 copies of the books, along with the supplemental online and licenses.
Fred, you want to add anything to that? Other than the fact that for us to be authorized to offer this AP class, we have to go along with purchasing the textbook and adopting the curriculum.
I think she said.
She summarized it.
Okay.
I move that we request the purchase of 25 copies.
Second?
Dear Lord, dear. Ladies first. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? All right. 15.0, tentative future agenda items, LCOP adoption and the budget adoption. I see there is nothing here for upcoming events.
Oh, no, it's summer.
Yeah, summer. Well, I think just on future agenda items, I think on, what is it, June 19th.
That's right.
It's going to be somebody's last board meeting.
That's correct. That's correct. And somebody's really excited.
Who would that be?
No, I will miss you.
We'll miss you too. Okay. No need to reconvene to closed session. And done. Okay, way to go. Way to take one. Looking for a second? All in favor? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.